Stephen, thanks very much for joining us. It would be good, I think, to get your kind of insights on particularly brownfield development, some of the challenges there, especially looking at it in terms of ESG.
The key thing for us in the UK, I think brownfield development has been at the forefront of a lot of what we've been doing over the past 10 years as greenfield sites are becoming more and more constrained. The challenges we're seeing there, certainly around detailing or working with complex sites where you've got old mine workings or historic buildings with complex foundations, has really helped us to get a better understanding of how we can approach a circular economy design around these older buildings and where we can find elements within the older buildings that we can reuse. And I'm not necessarily talking about just taking the doors off and putting them in a pile to put them into the new building. I'm talking here about actually taking structural elements, finding a way of reprocessing steel so it comes back, and finding a way of crushing concrete so we can reuse it in the new building. And it's a lot of it's all around about tonnage. If we're moving tonnage away from site and then bringing it back, it's actually not a very environmentally sound thing to do. So that is certainly in the UK something that we've really worked on very hard over the past few years. Coming to Germany, we've seen that this is now starting to happen here. They've had the luxury of greenfield sites up until about 5 years ago, and then there's been this slowly turning of the tap where the greenfield sites are no longer available, and now they're having the same issues that we've been dealing with in the UK for a lot longer. You know, our density, population density is a lot higher in the UK, and therefore we have a greater constraint on where we can build. So yeah, no, I think that's certainly a big part of where we're seeing advantage and seeing what we can bring into the German market is our knowledge of how to deal with these very, very complicated sites.
And in terms of some of the innovation, are you looking far more at, I suppose, modular construction, those kinds of things? I mean, how important are those sort of innovative techniques?
Yes, once you've got round the challenges that lie below the soil, you can then look at how you're delivering the vertical build above the ground. And there's certain things like modular design, or there's modern ways of building. We've now seen Maersk building warehouses in Ireland that are timber framed. We're seeing Bay Tree building timber framed offices onto the side of their warehouse. So we're working around those ideas and just seeing how those things are coming together. There's certainly, I think, there is opportunity to put more timber into the buildings that we're doing, and there's certainly ways that the work that Anna and her team are doing now, comparing construction techniques in Europe to the UK and finding where the embedded carbon savings can be made. And there are certainly things that we think we could take back to the UK from the German market with those ideas, and things we can bring back into Germany from what we're doing in the UK. So there's definitely a synergy here of cross-fertilising that information. And it's quite surprising that some of the concrete frame buildings in Germany that we're building actually have a lower embedded carbon than the steel frame buildings we're doing in the UK. We're never going to build concrete frame buildings in the UK. I can't see that happening. Everyone sees that as a backward step, but there's certainly ideas there that we can try to bring into the UK design, and that's something we're pushing for. But the challenge we have at all these points is that the funds are set on delivering a specific building type in a specific region. So we've worked for the same fund in Germany and in the UK, yet they won't let us build a German building in the UK, and similarly they won't let us build a UK building in the Germany. So I think the funds still need some education here.
It's going to be really interesting to see, I think, how some of these areas, particularly looking at brownfield, looking at ESG in those contexts, will develop over the coming months and years. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you, Richard. It's been a pleasure.